You're about to set sail on a pirate ship in the 17th century, ready for adventure. Or so you think. But here's the thing. Pirates weren't always glamorous swashbucklers with golden parrots and rum barrels. They were rough sailors battling harsh conditions day and night. You're now in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, surrounded by nothing but water for miles. It's like being trapped on a floating roller coaster with no exit. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse. Your first meal on board ISNT, exactly fine dining at the Ritz. You're eating salted meat, so tough it's like gnawing on a leather belt. But here's what nobody expected. The fish guts and spoiled food that fill your plate are served up with no warning or preparation. The weather can turn from clear skies to hurricane-force winds in mere minutes. It's like living through a horror movie, but without the luxury of knowing when it will end. And just when you thought your life was tough, the Captain ISNT exactly missed her. Rogers with pirate flair. He's more like a drill sergeant who has never met a regulation he didn't hate. He shouts commands so loudly you feel like every word is a personal insult. You're not just battling the elements. You're fighting against yourself for survival. Seasickness and exhaustion make simple tasks feel impossible. You try to steady your footing as waves toss the ship like it's in a washing machine. But here's what nobody expected. Your fellow sailors might not be exactly kind or friendly. They're every bit as desperate and hungry for survival as you are. And that's when everything changed. Suddenly, you're no longer just a passenger. You're a part of a tight-knit but dangerous crew where loyalty and trust can turn deadly at any moment. But probably not in a good way. You wonder if this is what it takes to be a pirate. Surviving against all odds in an endless sea of challenges. And just when you think it can't get any worse. You're about to find out what's terrifying the crew, but here's the thing. You've never seen this document before, and it doesn't look like anything official from the captain or the ship's log. The crew member is shaking so hard that his teeth chatter as he hands you the paper. The first thing you notice are these bizarre pictures. It's like your history textbook decided to team up with a bad horror movie. But here's what nobody expected. These aren't just random doodles. They're actually supposed to be nautical charts. You squint, trying to read between the lines, literally. There's a part that looks like it describes a route around an island marked Aldu Demon or Demon Island. It's supposed to lead to some sort of treasure cache, but here's the twist. The directions are more like riddles than actual coordinates. The wind picks up, sending debris flying across the deck, as if some invisible force is trying to tell you something. You glance around at your fellow sailors. They're all looking uneasy, like they know a secret that's about to be revealed. Then it happens. Green lightning starts flashing in the sky. It's as if the heavens are responding to this map with their own visual cues. But here's the twist. The crew believes these lights guide them to treasure or doom. You can feel it, the tension crackling through the air like sparks from a storm cloud. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, the captain steps onto the deck with an ancient-looking compass in hand. He looks at you and says two words that make your blood run cold. Follow me. But probably not what happens next. Everything changes when you realize this isn't just any chart, it's a cursed treasure map that only works under certain conditions. Like a full moon or green lightning storms. You're left standing there as the captain explains the next steps with an air of certainty that only makes you more nervous. It's like he knows exactly what will happen when they follow this map. And you can't shake the feeling it's not going to be good. And just as the ship begins its journey into the unknown, guided by both ancient lore and terrifying omens, you're left wondering, is this map leading them to treasure or straight to their graves? You're about to set sail on a pirate ship in the 17th century, and you've got your map ready. You think it's leading you to the treasure of your dreams, or maybe just to your watery grave. But here's the thing. Is this map leading them to treasure or straight to their graves? You've been aboard long enough to know that sometimes Even the bravest pirates are just chasing shadows. But here's what nobody expected. You crack open your map, tracing lines on it with a shaky finger as you wonder about the real treasure, the loot, or the survival. However, everything changes when you realize there's something even worse than scurvy lurking beneath these waves. You're expecting a fight for treasure, maybe a narrow escape through a stormy sea or two. But here's another twist: you'd think pirates were just about fighting and plundering. Maybe some are just about survival. Actually, it was neither. You catch a glimpse under the water, where shadows dart beneath the waves like ghostly serpents. It's not just about avoiding storms or enemy ships. It's about outrunning the sea monsters themselves. But here's a question that makes you pause as you leave the ship to gather supplies at port. You'd think pirates were all about treasure. Maybe they're just trying not to become dinner themselves. However, what if there's something even more terrifying than sea monsters lurking below deck? It turns out the real terror isn't the treasure or the storms, it's your fellow crewmates. You'd think they were just fighting for loot, but it's so much worse than that. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse. Scene: the sailor stands at the edge of the ship, feeling the cold night wind and staring into the dark abyss of the sea. He knows there's something down there waiting for him. You're halfway up when your fingers slip. Suddenly, there's nothing but empty air between you and the ocean. You grip desperately onto a frayed rope, heart pounding like a jackhammer. He knows there's something down there waiting for him. But here's the thing. When you're not climbing ropes or fighting off other ships, you might think your life gets easier below deck. You finally drag yourself into the hold. It's stifling hot and smells like a wet dog left in a dark basement for weeks. The air is thick with salt water and the acrid scent of rotting food. Bugs buzz angrily around your face as you push past crates to find a spot to rest. You think maybe it's rats you need to worry about, but that is only half the story. There is something else down here, too, and it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. It could be another pirate, ready for a fight, or worse. But probably not. Maybe it's just one of your crewmates taking a secret nap. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, the true horror reveals itself. You'd think after all this time at sea, you'd know every inch of your ship inside and out. But probably not. There are some things better left undiscovered. You spot movement near a pile of barrels, something that's been lurking in the dark corners, waiting for its chance to come out. You're about to scream when you realize this isn't your imagination playing tricks on you. It's a monster straight out of a nightmare, crawling through the shadows of your ship like it owns the place. You'd think pirates would dealt with this long ago and solve the problem, right? But probably not. In fact, everything changed when someone brought back a cursed cargo from Madagascar crates filled with these monstrous pests. You can feel the hairs on your arms stand up as you try to edge away. You're thinking of jumping out a porthole and swimming home when a thought hits you like a cannonball. What if there are more? You wonder how many other secrets the ship holds. What else could be lurking in the darkness? And just as you start to shake that off, suddenly, you hear another sound from deeper within the hold, a low growl, almost like someone whispering your name. And that's all before dinner. And that's all before dinner. You think about the day ahead, another round of backbreaking labor and salty camaraderie. But as night falls, the ship seems to hold its breath, settling into a quiet calm. It's like when the house is finally empty after a party. There are no more screams or laughs, just a lingering sense of what came before. Your mind wanders back to that first day on board. The chaos of new names, unfamiliar routines, and the constant strain of proving yourself. But here's what nobody expected. You'd start to find your place. It's like joining a secret club, one where every member has been marked by the sea and its relentless demands. But then you realize it wasn't just about finding your place on the ship. It was understanding that every sailor was part of something bigger, a collective heartbeat of the ocean itself. You think back to earlier days, when life felt like a series of harsh rules and unspoken challenges. But now you see it differently. It's not just about survival on the open water. It's understanding that every hardship is a thread in the grand tapestry of maritime history. And perhaps that's the strangest part. Not that they live this way, but that we forgot they ever did. Each sailor was a piece of a story far greater than themselves, every storm weathered, every victory celebrated, and every loss mourned. So here you are, under the stars on this quiet night, realizing that being a sailor wasn't just about the hardships. It was about becoming part of something timeless and essential. A moment to pause and reflect, perhaps the only one you'll get tonight. But probably not tomorrow. Tomorrow will bring another day at sea, another challenge to face with your fellow sailors. And in that rhythm of life and struggle, there's an enduring truth about what it means to be a sailor on pirate ships of old. And so you sit, listening to the ship's heartbeat, wondering if somewhere out there, another sailor is doing the same.